Me and my partner, Ray Morales, started training him and some other kids. And I told him throughout the years, I said, if this is what you want to do, you've got to do it 110%. Don't put your toes in the pond. If God has given you the ability to box, then do it for the glory of God. And be a good example. Be a good role model. If you're a good artist, go for it. If you're good at tearing down motors and putting them back together, go for it. Cultivate your talent. God will help you. You just got to ask Him. There's a couple of sayings up there that I put years ago, and I'm glad to still see them up there. I want to point to that one over there, the purple one. It's right here. It says, champions never take the easy way out. Pay the price. If you want to make something of yourself, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. You've got to pay the price. When I left the sheriff's department, I wanted to be a public speaker. So what did I do? After 15 years out of school, I went back to school to get a degree in public speaking. Did I want to? At 37? No. I've got kids. I've got a wife. But if this is what I want to do with myself, then I've got to cultivate that. If it's a talent, I've got to go with it. You've got to pay the price. If you want to be good at something, it's going to take time. Every one of you is called to be a champion at something. You've got to pay the price. I'm going to tell you what kills me, and I'm glad I got the forum to say this right now. This just kills me, and you tell me, this doesn't make sense for the life of me. In 37 years, I've been wondering, why are Mexicans killing each other in the streets of Los Angeles? Why? Why are blacks killing each other in the streets of South San? Why? I don't understand. Because your name's Garcia or Galvan or Mejia? That makes no sense. Can somebody explain this to me? Every Friday night here in East Los Angeles, Mexicans are killing each other. Why? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. Who has bewitched you? Who's lied to you? Who has told you that we're enemies? We're not enemies. We're friends. We're more than friends. We're family. See, I really believe that. I came to believe that years ago. That's what the Catholic Church teaches, that we're a family. Because of God, we're a family. And it hit me like a ton of bricks about 11 years ago. And I said, wow, that's what the nuns were trying to teach me. It makes sense. We are a family. You know something? I remember when I was 21 years old and I was a cadet going through the sheriff's department, they took me through the coroner's office. 21 years old. And they took us over to the LA County Coroner's Office. And they let us see cadavers, corpses, dead people. Well, you know, all of us, everybody wants to be cool, and everybody wants to act like tough. You know, they put on the tough man face and the tough man walk. Oh, I'm not scared of seeing dead bodies. You know, all that tough talk. And I went through the coroner's office, and I must have seen about 100 cadavers on slabs. And as they were operating, doing autopsies on these people that yesterday had been alive, yesterday had been working in a job somewhere, raising kids at Vaughn's, driving a car down Whittier, they were dead now. They were in a slab, never to walk again. And you know something? As they were doing autopsies and they were peeling the skin back, you know what I saw? Nothing separates us. Once you take that layer, once you take that epidermis, the top layer of the skin, we all look the same. Every one of us. No different. You know why? Because we are the same. Because we're a family. Because what makes us the same is that we've got a Father named God, and we've got a soul. How many of you watched that movie Ghost when it came out with Patrick Swayze? Raise your hand. Pretty cool movie, right? I thought it was good. It really had a good message. This is very basic. And I think Hollywood hit the nail right on the head with that movie. What happened? Patrick Swayze was purportedly a pretty good person in this life, trying to do the right thing, like I think most of you are trying to do, or you wouldn't be here. When Patrick Swayze died, He went to a better place according to the movie, right? Is it fair to say that he went to a better place? Now, when the murderer who killed Patrick Swayze, when he died, somebody that saw the movie, do you recall what happened when the person dies and the soul steps out of the body? You remember what happened to that person? Okay? You saw all sorts of demons coming out from the ground and just take them under. As cartoonish as that may look like, you know, that's what most people believe in the world. You know, 87% of America is Christian. 87% of America believes in Jesus Christ, but they have no guts to say that publicly. You go to work and you talk about Jesus. Most people are Catholic, Presbyterian, Methodist, Evangelical. But you know what? You can talk about anybody else. You can talk about Hugh Hefner at work. You can talk about Playboy and Penthouse, but don't talk about Jesus Christ because you offend me. You know what? Because we're a society of wimps. We're a bunch of gutless Christians, you and me. Because the only thing that's going to make sense out of this nonsense is listening to Christ, going back to basics, but we don't have the guts. We want to censor Christ out of everything. We could talk about anybody else in life except Him. He's out. I thought we had First Amendment rights, freedom of speech. Yeah, you could talk about anybody else. You can give the kids pornography. You could tell the kids about homosexuality. You could give the kids condoms, but don't tell them about Jesus. What kind of garbage is that? And you wonder why society is lost right now. We're spiraling down in moral decay. We're losing it, man. We're losing it. Go back to basics, I'm telling you. There's a prophet by the name of Isaiah who lived around 700 BC. And he says something that's just telling, man. It just hits me right in the heart. He says, woe to that generation who calls black white, who calls good evil and evil good, who calls right wrong and wrong right. He wrote that about 2,700 years ago. And you know something? It scares me to think that we may be that generation that calls good bad, and we call bad good now. We call black white, we call white black. We've lost our moral compass. If you don't go back to basics, go back to the 10 Commandments, root yourself back in the basics, you're going to be lost. And you'll say, well, you know what? I don't need that, Jess. I'm all right on my own. In 10 years from now, it's funny. People at 15, they think adults are stupid. But at 23, 24, you say, wow, that guy was sharp. It's amazing the way 8, 9, or 10 years from now, what sounds foolish to you, you're going to say, man, that dude was right on the money. That's true. At 15, 16, we think our parents are stupid. At 22, 23, we say, man, mom and dad, woo, they are like some wise sages, man. They know it all. They've got all the answers. You're going through a real tough time right now. This is the toughest time of your life right now. Whatever you decide to do in these few short years, it's going to pave the way for your future. The decisions you make here and now are going to count for the next 10 or 20 years. This is critical. This is critical. These moments right now, this time that you're living is critical. And I just hope, it's my prayer that God somehow through inspiration of your friends, your family, your community, that God gets a hold of your mind and your heart. Because the battle is for the mind. The battle is for the mind. If you lose your mind to lies, to secular humanism, to this thing that we call moral relativity. You know what moral relativity is? See, one of you guys have heard that word before. That's scary. That seems to be like the religion of America. You know what moral relativity is? This is what it is. Moral relativity is the people that say, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing right. If it's good for you, do it. If it's bad for you, don't do it. Don't impose your values on me, and I won't impose my values on you. Live and let live. That's a bunch of garbage, and a lot of our adults are buying into that. There is a right and wrong. There is absolute values. There is moral truth. There is. It's called God and the 10 Commandments. And from there, you can build a scaffold for the rest of your life. I went through the same brainwashing that you did. I remember back in 1978, going through high school at San Fernando, taking a class, a philosophy class. I can still remember the teacher, Mr. Crowell, totally poisoning the kids. You know what? There's nothing wrong and there's nothing right. Everything is relative. If you want to smoke pot, just go for it. If you don't want to smoke it, don't. If you want to carry a gun, hey, if that's your value system, go for it. What kind of garbage is that? I stood there and I was stunned. I'm like, what? Is this planet Earth? What kind of this man is being paid to teach us? I apologize to you because my generation, Generation X, is failing miserably. And you guys are at the end, at the receiving end of all of this. You got to go back to basics. I can't stress this enough. There's another saying up there I want you guys to take a look at. The 4 C's of boxing. CCC. Coaching, concentration, and coachability equals a champion. Conditioning. You got to stay fit. You got to stay mentally fit. You got to stay physically fit. Life is short. Don't end up getting caught in some area of peer pressure where you're going to start compromising your values, where you're going to start destroying yourself. A lot of people say, well, I'm young, I can use drugs right now. You know what? It's something that just grows on you. It's just like a parasite. It grows on you. Once you start, it's hard to get off of it. I know. I remember in San Fernando High School, I had a guy next to me in my locker named Louis. I'd be going to class. Louis would be grabbing a joint from his locker. I say, hey, Louis, why don't you go to class? No, Holmes, I'm going to go, and I got to toke up, man. Don't worry, I'll catch it later. He did that all 3 years at San Fernando High School. I remember. He used to look at me like, hey, Holmes, why do you want to go to class for? I said, man, I want to do something with myself, man. Every day he'd go to his locker, grab some dope, and go out to the field and party. When I was 21, and I graduated from the sheriff's department, and I started working in the LA County Jail, inmate reception center, guess who was coming in the front door of the LA County Jail, convicted for 10 years for robbery? I'm looking, here I am, 21-year-old rookie. I look up, Louis Hernandez. Locker room partner for 3 years, San Fernando High School. He tried to poison me for 3 years. Come on, man. Come on, Jess. No, I got to go to class, man. I got to stay focused. I ended up putting him up in the bus in chains. Can you imagine? I went to school, and here I am saying, put your hands behind your back. I got to put you in chains, Louis. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sign here. You're going to Chino for 10 years. Hey, see you later, man. Have a good life. You know how many people I saw on the bus going to Chino from where I live, San Fernando, Pacoima? A whole lot. And you know what? I'm telling you right now, it was the people that were ditching, the people thought it was cool to go and cut class and go to the beach and hang out in the field and smoke dope. Those people, I'm telling you right now, they weren't at my 10-year reunion. They weren't. You know who was at the 10-year reunion? All the people that you'd call nerds. All the people that weren't cutting class, going to school. Yeah, it wasn't real easy. Yeah, there was peer pressure, but we knew that we counted the cost, and we knew that there was going to be something at the end of graduation, namely a job. And the people that were the cool crowd, they weren't there at my 10-year reunion. A whole lot of them were at the county jail. Hey, Jess. And you know what one guy told me? He goes, you know what? You were different. Here I am, 21 years old. Another guy coming through from high school said, Jess, you know something? That's good. I'm glad. You were different. It's not that I was different. It's just that I felt that God had a purpose for my life since I was a kid. Since I was a kid, I said, God didn't put me on this earth to be a dope fiend, to sling dope, to carry guns, to tag walls. I've got a purpose. I've got a purpose. I want to be an example to my kids one day. I want to be an example to my family. And I want to look at people. I'm telling you, find people around that are doing the right thing and imitate them. Grab onto an example and imitate their lifestyle. If you see something good about officer so-and-so or teacher so-and-so or your cousin, imitate that. The power of imitation is awesome. The power of imitation. I know I've got 3 kids. When dad does something, the kids follow, whether it's good or bad. That's why I have to watch out what I do, because everything I say and do at home, the kids are looking at dad as the final authority, and they're following me. The power of imitation. Follow people that are doing the right thing. Look for people that are going places. Look for people that are successfully living in and around your communities. The 3 C's: conditioning, concentration, and coachability. Condition your mind. Study, pray, exercise. Concentrate. Get focused. Find something. Silas found boxing. I'm sure we've got the next Picassos here. We've got another Beethoven here. We've got another, who knows what we've got in this room? Who knows the talent that we have? Concentrate on something and go with it. Life is short. Don't waste your time. Coachability. What does that mean? That means that we don't know everything. There's a whole lot that I don't know, and I'm always asking questions, and I'm always reading the Bible, and I'm always asking people that I trust. Allow yourself to be coached by the right people. Coachability. We don't know everything. Look to people to give you the right answers. Don't go to the neighborhood dope fiend and ask them about values or ethics. Go to somebody who's walking the walk and who's talking the talk. You got to walk it and you got to talk it. People could see. People could see if there's consistency in your life. Whatever you say, you got to live that out. And whatever you got to live, you got to say it. I want to point to you another thing up there. The black one over here says, no pain, no gain. That applies in boxing. That applies in sports. That applies in school. That applies in everything you're going to do in life. There's no free meals. I'm going to tell you something that I just loathe. I hate it. And I'm Mexican, so I can say this. I notice a lot of us as Latinos, we tend to make excuses. You know what we do? We do something wrong and we say, well, it's because we're poor. It's because my mom and dad are from Mexico. It's because we live over here. We have become a people, a society that makes excuses. We become a bunch of gutless wonders. Don't be one of those people that cannot take responsibility for their actions. That's the problem with America right now. Without naming any names, there's certain people right now in the media that don't want to take responsibility for their actions. And you know what? There's a trickle-down effect. So what happens? You guys in junior high, high school, were saying, well, if the people in the highest places in the land, they say that there's no absolute values, they don't take responsibility. Why should I? You know what? Take responsibility for your actions. I know you've got a lot of bad examples out there in terms of people that aren't doing it. Be different. People will respect you. You want to get respect? Admit when you're wrong. You want to get respect? Take responsibility for your actions. Don't be a gutless wonder. We've had some poor examples in society, and I apologize for you. Somebody who just killed his wife not too long ago and denied it for years. This is gutless. We can't respect that. Don't be like that. Be different. Take responsibility for your actions. It's going to cost you. To be responsible, to be moral, to be ethical, it's painful, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. I want to point to you the other sign over here. It says, no guts, no glory. That applies to everything in life. If you want to work hard for that A in class, you got to study hard. You got to pound the books. If you want to be a fast runner, you got to go out there and pound the pavement. If you want to be good at football, at chess, at Chinese checkers, you got to put in the time. If you want to be a good human being, which is the goal of life, you want people in 5 or 10 years from now to look at you, and you want to be one of the pillars of society. You don't want to be one of the problems. We got too many people that are problems. Be the solution. Be different. We don't have to go too far from here to look at people that are a blight in society, people that are tearing us down. Be the solution. Be different. Do the right thing. There was a poster I saw once, it just touched my heart. I said, man, that is so cool. There was a poster, it had all these sharks, barracudas, piranha fish. They were swimming downstream. And then on the other side of the poster, you had this little goldfish that was swimming upstream. And on the bottom, it said, swimming against the tide. Swimming against the tide. Just because everybody's doing it doesn't mean it's right. I'm going to mention to you that politically incorrect person in society, but since he is the final authority in my book, and he will be in your book, you'll see it one day. Jesus says that the road to hell is wide, and many people go thereby. Many people. And on the contrary, he says that the road to heaven is narrow, and few people are going to find it.